a very small amount of infestation. I know our economy in our village is very strong and healthy, but I think we'd all like to see it stay that way. We're probably not going to get a ton of tax revenue or money in this economy, and I think that we should do what's most cost effective at this time, and try to concentrate on the heavily infested areas and see what happens after that. Because the thing that bothers me is the place that's most heavily infested now is the area that was sprayed. That to me it makes one stop to think. That's all I have to say.
Bill, if I'm not mistaken, there's $14 million in our coffer,
12.
approximately 12 million. I think we can afford to spend $100,000.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the board, I'll do whatever the board wants. I mean, this is,
I think we have to make a decision as to whether we spray the whole village or concentrate where the problem is, and give it a little cushion beside it. And if you're looking for a motion, I'll make a motion.
there's a motion on the board, on the table right now.
I have a
Then,
That's for 400 acres.
I have a question.
Yes.
Still down here.
Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot see.
You know, as a new board person, I understand the amounts that we have in each of the funds, but I also understand that a lot of that money is really already spoken for reserves for infrastructure. So it's very difficult for me to determine what exactly can we afford. So, you know, ideally, because it seems like there were a lot of people who had problems and maybe that message didn't get through, so maybe our hotspots accurate map isn't that accurate. I'd like to spray as much as we can, but I'm also concerned because I don't really have a good understanding of what we can afford, not only this year, but then going forward. So if somebody can enlighten me, that would be terrific.
Well, the forest's recommendation was to do the 400 acres, and this is what's on the table right now.
I understand it.
I could say something to that.
Go ahead.
I could say something to that.
Okay,
The money is not really spoken for, it's not legally reserved in that
I
sense.
understand.
We could, based on the amount of money we have available, we could easily afford to spend $100,000 or $120,000, whatever that number is. I don't see that as having an impact on operations or our ability to respond to the repairs and emergencies. And I think the difference that, and what I'm just saying and what Chuck was saying a minute ago, is that he was looking at an annual commitment over the long term. So if you spend $100,000 a year for 10 years and it's $1 million, that starts to be a different number. If the idea is you spend $100,000 one year and then say, okay, now what happened,
Right.
that would be a different level of comparison.
what's keeping us from doing that?
Nothing.
Then let's put,
Let's
a
get
5-year plan,
Do it now.
and committing to a 5-year plan when we don't think we have to.
Okay, let's get some more.
There's just one more part of this equation that at Lou Glantz, I spoke once before. Thank you, Bill. One more part of the equation, and that is we're talking about a preventative program that hopefully will be successful. But as with other items in the village does provide support to those homeowners who have to take down trees or buckthorn, etc. And I suggest that a program be looked at possibly to do some sharing support in that area if this gypsy moth spray program is not successful in certain areas.
Carol?
Carol Lieberman, 406 Greenbrier. It seems to me that because there are some doubts about where we have the most problem, that if we could spray as much as possible, if not the whole village, this year, that it would also be helpful if the forester or someone from his office could do a survey during the height of the season, because one of the things that happens is you don't even realize, and many people do not realize, that they have gypsy moth until their trees are severely impacted, and that if we did that actual survey of the village at the height of the season, it might be very useful going forward to decide what we do with on it.
Isn't that what he does with the traps?
No.
No,
Chuck?
Pardon me?
Isn't that what you do with the traps?
no.
Tell me what it is he does.
Well,
Isn't that what you do? Don't
well-
you survey the village by doing the traps, by looking at the traps?
well, we don't go look at everybody's piece of property for this.
That would be a monumental task.
Well, I mean, I'd be happy to do that,
I'm sure you will.
but we've got calls from a lot of places in the village. And like I said, we don't just go look at that address, that puts us in that location. And that tells you where the caterpillars are, okay? The key is, where are the egg masses? That's the key, because the egg masses are here, you find caterpillars way over there. So, should we be spraying way over there, or should we be spraying where the egg masses are the most? Because that's where the new insects are
Let
coming.
me ask you a question. I mean, the sentiment in the room appears to be, to spray the village. And it sounds really good, because then everyone, it's very inclusive, everyone's treated equally, it has some appeal. But in reality, isn't it also true that there are large portions of the village that it would be a complete waste to spray?
Absolutely.
Oh, certainly.
So why would we even consider spraying areas of the village that just clearly do not need it? I mean, certainly the spraying company doesn't need our money just to give it to them. That would be somewhat
Sure.
ridiculous.
Sure.
So, I mean, to spray the entire village sounds good, but to me, it's just way, way overkill.
I don't think
It's
anybody's,
wasteful.
I don't think anybody's suggesting that.
No,
If you
everyone,
look at the map, no, if you look at the map,
It's pretty much
if
the
you look at the map, I
north-south
think
core
you'll
of the
see,
village.
that's right, you see clearly that west course, east course.
I understand that that's what your map says, but
Yeah.
I've heard multiple people tonight, as we've been sitting here,
Well, I-
saying, let's spray the whole village
I
to
don't
start a
think the board's
baseline.
considering that.
And that doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
and when Bill talks about the $130,000, he's talking about 1,300 acres, largely
Right
that's
through
the
there, right through
north-south corridor,
So I think we
which
need to
is the
clarify that.
historic woodland
Right.
area of the village.
I think we need to clarify
correct.
that, so everyone understands that. Even spraying the whole village that we're all kind of talking about is not going to be the whole village,
No.
because
It'll be the portions of the village identified on a map like the one that.
We have a motion on the floor. I think we've had enough discussion on this.
Can I ask one
Yeah.
quick question?
Just gotta say that first.
Oh, all right.
Well, I'll yield.
Are there any studies, are there any statistics on how effective the spraying is? In other words, if we spray the whole corridor, okay, from what I understand, the insects eat the leaves after they're sprayed. So it's not killing the egg masses.
That has nothing to do with the egg masses.
Right, it's killing the
It's-
actual
it's-
insects,
yeah.
okay? Is there a percentage? I mean, does it kill 98% of them? Does it kill 100% of them?
I haven't seen any studies, but really the issues are, that's why,
99
99%?
on something I have, yeah.
well, the flying service makes it, they're the ones that monitor the hatch over the region. And they're the ones that set the, based on air temperature, air humidity, whether it's rain or it's gonna rain in the near future, all those kinds of things. And it's sprayed twice. It's $44 per acre times 2, because you spray it twice, roughly about 10 days apart. So they're the ones that do all that stuff. And that's what struck me with this area in South Riverwoods was, everything that they did, all the information they gave us based on the wind and the weather and stuff, it was perfect for spraying. And I don't know what that calculation would turn out to be, but does it kill every one of them? Probably not, but they get a pretty good kill on them when they with the bacillus. I think some of the other chemicals they used to use might have been a little more effective, but we don't do that anymore. So I have a comfort level with what they're spraying is they get pretty good coverage with it.
The Purdue has put out a publication that says that BTK kills 80 to 85% of the caterpillars in the first spray and up to 99% in the second spray. But of course, that's also qualified that if the weather is not
Right.
advantageous or if you miss the time window, then the effectiveness starts trailing off.
Yeah, the larger the development, and last year the insect got bigger. They go through the same number of instars.